Star Wars only, I don't know what the fuck your problem is.
According to The Hollywood Reporter, there's going to be a change in direction at Lucasfilm and who has a say and who's involved with the future of Star Wars. Here is the paragraph from their article that talks about this. It says, "So with or without Kennedy, sources say it seems likely that Favreau," and they're talking about Jon Favreau, "will have a lot of say over the future of Star Wars. These sources also say Kennedy's ideal team includes key roles for Michelle Rejwan, a producer on Episode 9, and Lucas' senior VP of live-action development and production, and Dave Filoni, the veteran animation director and George Lucas' protege, who directed live-action for the first time with 2 episodes of The Mandalorian. Even if remaining at Lucasfilm was not in the cards for Kennedy, this plan would enable her to trumpet that she has done the job that she was hired to do, completing the Skywalker saga, and left the franchise in good hands." This is not really outside the realm of possibility. Personally, I hate to be this guy. I fucking told you so. I mean, I've been saying this for a hot minute now, that specifically Michelle Rejwan would have a bigger say in the future of Star Wars after she became vice president. I thought she could be, literally, I made a video talking about like 5 potential candidates for Lucasfilm president in 2021, and these are 3 out of the 5 of them. And I've always said these 3 are like the most likely ones out of specifically Michelle Rejwan and Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni, I think that's a stretch in terms of president of Lucasfilm, simply because that's a producing role. That's something you need to have a little bit more experience in the film department. I know a lot of people, at least in the Star Wars fandom, think they know what the fuck they're talking about when it comes to how a business is ran and how Star Wars is ran. They really have no idea what the fuck they're talking about, but Dave Filoni could be a potential candidate if he gets more producing experience underneath his belt. Jon Favreau, though, and Michelle Rejwan are like the key candidates in my opinion. Both of them have a lot of experience producing, specifically Jon Favreau. He's also a very great creative role in my opinion, and I think with the reception that people have had towards The Mandalorian, and it's kind of one of those love letters to George Lucas in the 1930s Flash Gordon style, Buck Rogers serial that Lucas fell in love with when he was younger. It's clear that The Mandalorian is kind of geared towards that. And to a lot of people, and me myself included, it feels a lot more like Star Wars than what we've gotten from the past 20 years of Star Wars content. Even the prequels, even the sequels, this feels more like the original trilogy Star Wars than we've seen since the original trilogy. So it makes a lot of sense that they would look at someone like Favreau and say, yeah, we need to have him more involved with Star Wars. And I'm 110% on board with that. I think Jon Favreau is great. He looks like a guy I would get high as a kite with any day of the week and talk about Star Wars with all the time. Michelle Rejwan is a clear candidate for Lucasfilm president. It makes sense that they would want her to be more involved with it as well in terms of the future of Lucasfilm and Star Wars. And of course, Dave Filoni. You got the guy who was taught by George Lucas himself. When it comes to the story department, they already go to him for a lot of Star Wars story and what the story of Star Wars is and what it should be and the mythological aspect of Star Wars. It makes sense that he needs more of a creative role at Lucasfilm that isn't just tied down to animation. It's also tied into the live action stuff, potentially the movies as well. I think this is a great strategy going forward for Lucasfilm. Even if it's coming from Kathleen Kennedy herself, if she's the one who's saying these 3 should be the ones to kind of take my place as I go on, good fucking choice and good for her. Good job. I think this is a great strategy. I think Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau together make a great dynamic duo. I would love to have Jon Favreau as president of Lucasfilm and Dave Filoni as like vice president or something, or head of content development or something like that when it comes to the story department and everything. And you know, Jon kind of deals with a little bit more of the business producing side and everything. I just think it's a great strategy, and I hope this happens. Not only because I can personally say I told you so, and I've been saying this for a long time, that Jon Favreau likely could become president of Lucasfilm and should, and also that Michelle Rejwan would, you know, move up in the ranks over there at Lucasfilm to a very higher role. I'm excited for the future of Star Wars, man. If it's involving these 3, and if it's got, I mean, I'm not going to say Kathleen Kennedy needs to leave, but if she leaves and one of these 3 people replace her, I'm happy with it, man. I'm on board 110%. Even if it's Dave Filoni. I know a lot of people get mad at me for saying that he shouldn't be president of Lucasfilm. I'm just looking at it from a business and logic sense of this guy hasn't done a lot of producing in his time, and that's what the role of Lucasfilm president should be, a very good producer. Most of the president roles for Lucasfilm before that were, you know, CFOs and people who were really good with finance. Gordon Radley, Douglas Norby, Michelin Chow. You don't even know these people's names because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but I do. I'm playing. I'm just being an ass. I like stroking my ego a little bit. Anywho, I do know a lot about the Lucasfilm presidents, and I do think Dave Filoni could potentially be one of the presidents in Lucasfilm many years to come. Just not at the moment. I think he's great at storytelling. Business-wise, though, it's a whole nother world and a whole nother department that I think Jon Favreau or Michelle Rejwan would be great at. In terms of story, though, I'm not sure if you could really give that to Michelle Rejwan. I don't really know too much about her story credentials, but Jon Favreau is like the perfect pair out of the three of them. He's the one who's got all the credentials. So hopefully it's Jon Favreau. Hopefully he's the one who gets a lot more say over the future of Star Wars, and he stays into it. He seems like a big fan of it. He seems to be sending that love letter to Lucas when it comes to The Mandalorian. I'm excited to see the future of Star Wars grow now. Tell me your thoughts below, though. I want to hear what you guys have to say about these three people potentially having more say over the future of Star Wars. I'm Star Wars Only. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see y'all next time, and may the Force be with you always.